Hello, today on the Jerry McKinney Show, we're here with Catherine, the main character of the newly published book, Catherine called Birdy. Catherine, nice to meet you.
Hello, Jared.
Catherine, here we have a few questions from some of our viewers. One question is, Catherine, how did you feel about Edward publishing your journal?
Well, as you can imagine, I was overjoyed when my brother published my personal thoughts and feelings out to the world.
For those of us who don't know, what is the story about?
Well, the story starts with me, Catherine, at age 13. At the beginning of my tale, I'm simply trying to avoid my womanly duties of sewing, hemming, and caretaking. My mother saved me from a childhood of sewing so I could write my journal. My problem soon branched off into a disaster when my beastly fleabag of a father tries to marry me off to every man he could find. Through quick wit and a lot of grease, I made my problem go away.
Fascinating. Did you feel like the events in the story made you grow internally as a person?
Oh, of course. I remember in one instance, I ran away with the Jewish people who came to stay with my family one October night. I got to a point where I realized I wasn't prepared to go out into the world, and maybe wasn't meant to escape my docile life. Another instance was when I bought a bear to save it from death, with one of my suitor's betrothal gifts. I bought the bear knowing that I was giving myself to a gross suitor, showing that I finally realized that there are more important things in the world than my miserable life, that it was worth giving myself away to save that fat, smelly bear from death. I think the biggest thing, though, that changed me was when I succumbed to my life of ladyhood. I decided that I was ready to be married off, and that my new suitor, Stephen, was going to be as good as I could get.
Now, Catherine, what do you think was the biggest challenge that you faced?
I had many. To start, I had to hem and sew, sometimes for days at a time, which was just a horrendous task. I also had to turn away fat and greasy pigs on a daily basis, which was truthfully, at sometimes, pretty enjoyable. A huge problem that I faced was that my best friend, Alice, fell in love with my dearest Uncle George. The thought of it boiled my blood. How could Alice do this to me? I quietly separated the two with a quick curse. I felt bad about it, but I could simply not have them marry.
Branching off of that idea, was your Uncle George your biggest influence?
Oh, heavens no. I love my Uncle George, but I would have to say the goat boy, Perkin, was my biggest influence. Perkin was there for me when I was feeling troubled, and he could always help me.
So, Captain, how is your life now compared to how it was before?
A lot worse, I'm afraid. My dearest Stephen died of rabies a couple months ago, leaving me and my baby alone, and now my baby has a terrible cough that's only getting worse.
How morbid. How was your life with Stephen when he was still here?
Stephen was amazing. He was smart, intellectual, and we had the same personality.
Has your father allowed you to find your own husband this time?
I'm not sure. I'm not in the mood to look for a husband yet. I'm still mourning over my loss of Stephen.
So what do we have with us here today?
Corpus Bones! That's my diary!
Well then.
This is the first installment of Catherine called Birdy. I wrote it when I was a teenager.
Well, okay, Catherine, it was a pleasure getting to talk to you today.
You too. Now can I leave?
I guess so. Remember, by Catherine called Birdy. I know I will.